What's up? It's your boy Gutter, and this is Gutter News and Preps. Today I got a semi-quick review on the Sog Powerpint. Excuse the glare, I'm in the car. I'm on the road today, and the sun's out. Alright, well, first off, I'd like to say that this thing is very small, comes in a nice small form factor. It's good for light to light medium duties. You're definitely not doing anything too strenuous with this, but it will get the job done with a lot of work. It's stainless steel with a stone wash finish. It has a compound lever system on the pliers and 18 different functions, which I would say 2 or 3 of the functions are kind of pushing it for me, and I'll tell you why. Actually, we'll jump on that immediately. First off, what you would see there, if the camera would pick it up, I ain't got the best camera. We have this thing right here. It's supposed to be a protractor. It's kind of small. It doesn't have all the marks that I would want. It goes from 30 to 160, then 180. There's no 60. There's no 90. No 120, none of that. So I say that's pushing it, and it's so small you can barely see it. So I'd say that would be pushing it. Then it has a ruler system on the side. Yeah, that's pushing it for something so small, and you can only put the ruler in certain spots. I'd say they were pushing it on that. I'd just rather do without the ruler, to be honest with you. Design looks cool, but no, not my cup of tea. And then this lanyard hole right here, I say that's pushing it. I don't really count a lanyard as a function myself, no matter what multi-tool, multifunctional pocket knife. I just don't count a lanyard hole as a function. Some people would, some people wouldn't. Me personally, I do not. And something as small as this lanyard hole right here, no, I think they could have made it a little bigger, to be honest with you. So fit a piece of paracord in there, the full piece of paracord, not just one of the inner strands or two. But that's just my personal preference. But everything else on it seems to be kind of solid. What I would have done, I'll tell y'all in a minute. But we're gonna go through the function. First, we have a Warren Cliff style blade, 8CR13 MOV steel. So Chinese made steel, but this works, comes razor sharp out the box. I haven't even had to touch it up, and I've used it extensively for caulking on my job site. Cleans up pretty nice too. And it's so small, it's just so small that it can get into a lot of places that the bigger knives can't get into. And I kind of like the smaller blades anyhow, the form factor on it. And it has the one-handed opening. Let me show you that again. Let me just close it. Let me show you that one-handed opening. I barely have nails, but see, one-handed opening, and it comes like super razor sharp out the box. I'm telling you, this thing would just shred anything that is perfect for its size. Nice Warren Cliff style blade. Like I said before, not the blade shape that I prefer, but it works, and it's definitely utility. You can use it for box cutter, utility style blade. Like I said, I've used it for caulking. Then what's next? The one thing I will say is kind of hard to get the tools out. So small. Next we have a reamer, awl. Everybody knows what these are used for. You can punch holes in pretty much anything. I've tested it out on wood, leather, nylon, and it works. Sharpen edge right here, and then a nice point on it. And yes, you can use it for sewing with the little hole right there. So it actually kind of works. I didn't expect it to, but it exceeded my expectations. Then you have your mini screwdriver. It's a mini flathead for stuff like eyeglasses, jewelry, things of that nature. I don't really find much use out of it. I'll tell you what I would have traded this out for in a minute. Then what we have next is like I said, these things, the one thing I will say is the tools are kind of hard to get out, so tight in there, and it's small, but it's not a deal breaker. We have a hook blade, so you can use this for seat belts, gutting, and it comes sharp too. I've tested it out on some paracord, clamshell packages, boxes, and for its size, I give it an A. It works, and it works decent enough for me to actually like it and find a utility for the tool. And then next on this side would be a file, and it's a true file. It's a 3-sided file. So you have your regular cut on this side, which is your side cut. Then you have your cross cuts here, and then you also have a file right here. I would say that they needed to do some work on the file. It's not too aggressive. And if you're doing some woodwork or metal work and you need a file and you can't find yours and you happen to pull this out, I would say it's not the best. I mean, it does work, but I would like to see these file sides more aggressive. So that could be a good or a bad thing. I really don't mind it because I don't see myself using a file much, but when I do use the file, I notice that I have to put in a bit more work than usual than when I'm using something like my Leatherman Wave Plus, which I got a review on that coming up too. But for the form factor, for the size factor, it works. I would just like to see it more aggressive. And if I can be able to pull it out easier, pull it out easier, it would definitely be a great tool. The next thing would be, on the other side, would be a serrated blade, which this works good for what it is. It'll chop down some damn boxes. It'll cut paracord. It'll cut rope. All in all, this tool actually works pretty good, so I have no complaints about that tool. Next would be the can opener, kind of like your standard Victorinox style can opener. Not done as well, but it does work. It gets the job done to open the cans. And I've noticed that with this particular tool, if you were to sharpen down the bladed part, you would actually be able to have a whittling tool as well. So if you want to whittle some wood and make some spoons or some bowls, this would be actually a perfect kind of whittling tool, to be honest with you. Next up is a #1 Phillips head. It looks kind of flat, but at the same time looks 3-dimensional as well, so it's like an in-between kind of thing. What I really would have liked to see is a combination of a #1 and #2 on this, but excuse me, for most things this works. And if you see up in there, it's kind of short, And I would have liked to see it be longer because you actually have the space for it. I don't know what happened there. But if they come out with a 2.0 or something, I would definitely like to see that Phillips head be longer and maybe accommodate number 1 and number 2 sized Phillips heads. Next is a bottle opener. Yeah, it's just a bottle opener. It works. This is as much as I could say about it, really. I don't use the bottle opener on my multi-tools much. I usually go to something else, like Victorinox Swiss Army knife. And then we have scissors. Again, excuse me. I like these scissors. They cut pretty decent, light duty scissors. What I would say is they don't open very far out, and the torsion bar that they have is kind of hard, and I wish I would have been able to see something coming out on this end so you're not straining your thumb too much, because after a while, if you plan on using this because you forgot your regular scissors or something like that, this will put a dent in your finger and it will hurt. It'll start hurting. But and I would like to see it open wider. It doesn't open wider than this, you know. And for such a short cut, you know, you're putting more strain on your finger, and you're getting less done. But for what it is, it works. Comes sharp, and it will cut. It will cut. I will say that. But I wish it, you know, it opened up a little bit more, you know, and the torsion bar was done a bit different, in my opinion. Then we have your pliers with the compound lever system, which actually, if you use one hand, you would be able to open this up one-handed, which I kind of like that. And then you can close it one-handed. You see, all that's just one hand. There's not really too much bad I could say on the pliers. When I'm using them in my hands, they fit pretty well because I got smaller hands, so this actually fits pretty well. And due to the type of system they used for the plier itself, when applying pressure, I would say you're applying more pressure than what you think you are, and then you're able to turn stuff, pull stuff a lot more easily. The wire crimpers, they work. And the needle nose, they're pretty decent too. I just use them to pull out staples in some wood we have, and they work pretty decent. The wire cutters, they're not the best, but they will get the job done on smaller things. Maybe 14 gauge, 12 gauge wire, but after that, you're really pushing it. And yeah, I just really like it. It's kind of fidgety, you know. So if you have ADHD like me, you pull this out and you start playing with it, it'll it'll act like one of them toys. And like I said, look, one-handed opening, it works decent. I really like it. For what it is, I really like the tool, you know. But if I was to change anything out, this is what I would do. I would take this bottle opener and the can opener, right? These two tools right here, the bottle opener and the can opener, and I would actually put them on one tool, kind of like what the Gerber suspension NXT has. Put them in one tool, and then I would actually have put in place for one or the other, whichever spot you put it on. I would actually put in place a dedicated flat driver, right? I would make the Phillips head accommodate number 1s and number 2s, right? And the scissors, You know, I would like to see them open up wider. The lanyard hole, I would like to see it a little bigger, but nothing is perfect. Tools are always evolving. Some things are taken out, some things are put in. But I can say that this tool works. It's been in my EDC for about a week and a half, 2 weeks now, and I like it. I'm not gonna say I don't. There's some things I would change up, but I like it. And maybe, just maybe, some replaceable wire cutters. I might be asking for a bit much, but I would really like to see some replaceable wire cutters. Because when these dwindle down, that's it. And let me tell you, having some replaceable wire cutters on this, you know, when the old ones go, you take them out, order yourself some new ones, put them in, boom, Sog, you'll be making a lot more money. Just saying. And the lever system, it's awesome. It's awesome. It doesn't even feel like it needs to be lubed, which you will want to lube it, but it's I just like playing with it when I'm bored because it's just so easy. I will say, take out the protractor and the ruler. There's no need for it on something so small. And you do have to open up the plier head a little bit in order to disengage the lock from your tools. Yes, they do lock on the outside, but the problem is when you have it locked like this, it's kind of, I mean, you could do it, you really can, and then boom, but it's not the easiest thing to do, you know. And I would like to see, maybe, now this is pushing it, a different lock system. But then again, it wouldn't be the Powerpint now, would it? Oh, one more thing that I almost forgot is, if you have a bit kit, you could put your bits here. It takes standard bits and you can use it as a regular screwdriver. I guess that's why they took out the they didn't include a flat driver. But I would like to be included a dedicated Phillips, a dedicated flat, and then if you wanted to add this thing for like Torx bits and hex bits, star bits and stuff like that, then of course. But I would really like to see a flathead on this. But all in all, Sog Powerpint, it gets an okay from me for everyday carry, everyday use, medium to light duty, and light duty to light medium duty, and it works. This is Gutter News and Preps, and that was another review.